Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jenn Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm here with my business partner at Elite Online Publishing, Jenn Foster. Hey, Jenn.
Hey everyone, it's a wonderful day today.
It surely is. We have so much joy coming your way, and we are going to learn to manifest some things. But first of all, I want you to subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, and share this. And if you are looking to write a book, make sure you connect with us at Elite Online Publishing. But there's so many things going on in the world right now. In the green room, we were talking to our amazing guest that's coming up. We've got climate change. We've got the pandemic that happened. We have a war at this moment going on. And how do you maneuver through all of that? Well, today we have Adam C. Hall with us, who has written Divine Genius along with a couple other books. And he's going to teach us to empower ourselves to manifest our intentions and thrive into the future. So how do we get out of all this darkness and free ourselves and free our minds to have what we want and what we're looking for? So we're going to dive deep into that today. We're so blessed to have Adam with us today. Adam, thanks for coming.
Well, it's great to be here with you, ladies. I look forward to our discussion and conversation, and these are extraordinary times. So let's see if we can support some good work in the world.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this space.
Well, I'd be happy to, and I spent much of my first 60 years of my life. It was about 42 to be exact. In the business world, I continue to be a serial entrepreneur. And I'd focused much of my energies and focus in the real estate arena, in the capital markets, in the development markets. I'm based out of Los Angeles and built a few successful real estate companies. And perhaps paradoxically, I was at the pinnacle of my career, and always had wanted to achieve that American dream and those riches, so to speak, and was living that lifestyle. But oddly, something was missing. And one day when I was driving to my offices from my home out in Malibu to my offices in LA, the sun was coming up and I was running like you do in the jungle, eat or be eaten kind of world. And I was having a very heated conversation with a Wall Street investment banker on a very large transaction that didn't end well. And it didn't end well because my blood pressure was very high, and a dog ran in front of my car and nearly killed the dog. And my heart felt like it was exploding out of my chest. Well, I didn't have a heart attack at the time. And because I was young and I was in fairly decent condition, but ultimately it put so much stress and so much cortisol into my whole body. I just pulled over and I kind of broke down and just felt like, oh my God, this is not the way I want to live my life. And if I continue, this is not going to happen for me. So I did a course correction and I began to really explore mission, purpose, why are we even here? And I think at this point in time, maybe you ladies would agree, a lot of us are coming to a place where we are pivoting in our work, in our careers. We had 4.3 million people left their jobs last month in the United States. This great reset is well underway. So I did a reset and I did a revision and hence became a fledgling author and teacher and trained transformational leaders. And I'm excited to be here with you, sharing a little bit of the passion together. Yes, thank you for asking.
Thanks. Well, you talk about, the name of the book is Divine Genius. Explain your definition of divine genius. and the genius mind?
Well, yeah, thank you. Because, we often think of genius. We think of the Teslas of old and the Einsteins or the courageous women like Susan B. Anthony or Martin Luther King and our Mother Teresa. And the list goes on and on of all these amazing humans that are graced the planet and are here presently. And what it seems to be is we get this idea, this belief system, that a genius is somebody that's some kind of extraordinary human being that has some kind of extraordinary intellectual prowess. And the fact of the matter and the truth of the matter is that's just not true. Mm-hmm. And what is true, and what I found in my own journey from, what I described to you earlier, Earth Conqueror to Earth Keeper to Planetary Steward, that the within each of us is this innate ability and this an innate knowing that can be discovered in sharing our story and taking this journey to self-discovery, that is one that aligns our body, our emotional, our mind, and our spiritual intelligence. In other words, bringing all those things together, what emerges? The genius within each of us. And I've seen this time and time again with my clients. I see this everywhere that I go these days, is people emerging into their genius and really sharing that. So that gives a little bit of an idea of the genius within. And then the divine genius is really that divinity within each of us. It's the connection to spirit, to God, if you will, or to the Christ mind or the Buddha mind or whatever that is for you or not for you, but it's a connection to a greater whole. And I think that creates our connection to the divine genius and the genius within ourselves. So it's good to be playing with the geniuses right here today, seeing where this wants to take us. Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true. Like you said, you get into that jungle of work every day and the mundane of, getting ahead, and you forget to look at yourself and look at your divine genius and go and center yourself in the earth, right? And ground yourself. So I think that's really great that you found that, and that you're teaching that and guiding people through that.
Well, thank you, Jen. And I think it's easy to talk about a lot of things. I've been sharing a lot with the book out and whatnot. And, inevitably it's, if we're in the journey or we feel really stuck in that journey, or perhaps we're in a relationship that's abusive in one way or the other, God forbid, or in a deep state of a health crisis, it seemingly has become something that is so daunting and perhaps impossible that we basically give up our hope. And the message of the divine genius, the Unlearning Curve, as the subtitle, is that there is faith here that's very present, that is asking for each of us to take that journey to embrace our genius, and to really evolve ourselves. And in the book, I really offer 13 key universal wisdom teachings that offer the reader or the person that's looking to embrace what's next in their life. My God, the world is full of so much noise, whether it's our news, whether it's on our social media, whatever it is, and we don't even know what is true or not true. Mm-hmm. So in other words, there's a great story that's being told around a false narrative. And you're right, and I'm wrong, or that kind of conflicting interest. So the circumstances feel daunting, but the offering here is that embrace this deeper truth within you, just trusting that, to know that journey is safe, to move beyond all this false narrative, to write a new story that's defined by you, that's not defined by a guru, it's not defined by a teacher or a book, it's not defined by a priest, it's not, God forbid, not defined by media or anything else, but the truth of who you are, and that power to reclaim that truth and that authenticity of your new story. So that's the journey, and we're here in it together. So, and if there's, this is the moment, why wait to tomorrow or the next week or the next life if you believe in that, to do what you can do right now. And that's the idea here, is to embrace that genius.
So you mentioned the 13 steps or strategies. Can you give us a few of them here?
Yeah, no, of course, because it is, we are in the journey, and there are those stepping stones. And anybody that's even listening to this show that we're doing today, ladies, is I want to honor them for showing up and taking the time to care enough about their lives, about their work, about their writing, their story, their storytelling, to up-level their own personal lives. Because, in story and in writing, as you know, especially for those that are primarily dancing around their own muse and listening to that, whether it's sharing their expertise or it's sharing, things that they know in their own journey, or even a memoir of sorts, is that it's about that authenticity. And these steps, these 13 wisdom teachings, are about engaging in that authentic self. In other words, if we're sitting there when we're writing, are we writing from our left brain, our head? Where are we writing from, and where are we allowing that muse? Where are we allowing that creativity to flow into us and through us? And are we blocked in really that space? I can tell you from my journey into that, which was a dominant, masculine, left brain, analytical, grasping, doing type of energy, that wasn't conducive to the right brain, the creative brain, the invitation of the muse. So the idea of these 13 wisdom teachings is to come back into touch with that piece of ourselves. And it begins with the first teaching, which is number 1. And the first step, which is number 1, is the forgiveness of self and the forgiveness of others. Because if we're grasping on to a place of being the victim, if this makes sense, somebody did something to me, and this is not to say they didn't. This is not to deny anything that is happening or happening to you in your life, but it's only to say, I'm going to reclaim my power and my truth over that circumstance so that it's no longer dictating me. In other words, not haunting my journey of going forward. So forgiveness is such a powerful process. And I share in the book a forgiveness that has never really been taught before or shared before. And it's a direct teaching from A Course in Miracles, which I'm a longtime student and teach that. So forgiveness is one. I encourage everybody to check it out because it's a game changer about freeing yourself from your story, your old story, your old abuses, your old beliefs, your old ways of habitually doing things. Step into that. There's other ones like destiny. Are you a person of fate? Because fate is fatal. And we're living in times where we feel hopeless, and we're subject to the fate of our environment. We're subject to the fate of our leaders. We're subject to the fate of our bank accounts. This is about embracing your power and your abundance in destiny. And destiny is something you get to co-create. Every single one of us gets to do that. So those are just 2. There are many riches. We could touch on so many things, but we're short on our time today. But hopefully that helps us get started on those steps and some of those things where people can go immediately to that next movement in their journey to genius.
Yes, I love that. And, forgiveness, a lot of times, when people are reading about forgiveness or trying to forgive something or someone that happened in the past, I think a lot of times we forget to forgive ourselves. And we're constantly, putting ourselves down in the mind talk. We have to shift, like you said, and recreate that story that we're telling ourselves and forgive ourselves. So I think that's a really big step, because a lot of times I don't think people are looking within, and they're just thinking, like you said, blaming someone else and saying, I need to forgive that person. But maybe you just need to forgive yourself and give yourself a break, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So perfectly said, Jen. And the challenge I think many of us have is because we don't even get to the place of even the idea of self-forgiveness and self-love because we feel I'm an unworthy son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guilty. I did something terribly wrong. And all of this stuff that comes into to play in that space that keeps our fullest expression being in writing, singing, leadership, business realm. It just all gets blocked and stuck. So the idea is, let's get them stuck. Let's remove those obstacles. And here's some pragmatic and practical ideas that are proven, that have had a success in not only from my own personal work in the world, but also that work that many of us, others of us, are doing. So yeah, absolutely. And here's a big shout out to forgiveness. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. You also talk about to discover the power of your mind to create abundance and prosperity that you're desiring. And how do you get to that, to get out of your own way to create that abundance?
Well, I just had published a book entitled The Little Book of Genius for Abundance. And I'm going to offer something at the end of our talk about abundance as well. So thank you for introducing it into the conversation today, because if there's anything that's a condition of a mindset that's separate from the abundance of the universe, I mean, think of it this way. Isn't nature abundant? Doesn't nature provide us with the food and substance? Doesn't nature provide us with the air we breathe and the light that keeps us alive? Absolutely. What's more abundant than that? And so when we're disconnected from the abundance even of nature, of Mother Nature in its own right, hence we're off track. So most certainly the beginning points are connecting with things that are abundant. And I'm not talking about going out with people that necessarily seemingly have money and wealth. As a matter of fact, some of those people are the least abundant people there are. And so what I'm talking about is activating within your own biology, your own DNA, your own mindset, your wiring, your neurophysiology, to rewire yourself into abundance. And where I found that, and it was like discovering gold, moving away from the hard charging, get out of my way, money at all costs world, was in nature. And that's available. That's free. That's available to all of us. It doesn't matter where you live. You can live in the desert, which in some ways is more abundant than anything. You can live in the mountains. You can live in the plains. You can live next to the river. You can live anywhere. You can connect with nature. And this is the whole idea of abundance. So that's a real simple connection point to begin activating your abundant muscle, because abundance is here for all of us. Lack and scarcity is a false idea that exists in a mindset that is separated from the abundance of ourselves and nature. So that's where it is. It's not out there necessarily. It's right in here inside of us. So I'm feeling abundant today with you two and everybody here. So let's do that.
I love that. Where can people go to get your book, as well as where can they go to get more information about you?
Well, thank you for that. And the invitation is I invite everybody to come to my website at www.adamhall.solutions. I'm getting great visitors from all over the globe every day. And what they're finding there is an abundance of not only blogs that can help you transform and live your ultimate life now, live your genius, so to speak, but lots of offerings that are free, like this little book of genius for abundance. You can get a little ebook there, give you some insight and tips on getting yourself activated into abundance. There's also a masterclass there. And in that masterclass, that's free as well. You can really learn about discovering your genius and learn about your mission and creating impact in the world. So I invite people to first and foremost check out adamhall.solutions. And of course, I would love it if you'd check out the book, because the book is going to offer you those steps, a process, a genius process to actually get results and really find yourself being accountable in a way that's going to really accomplish what you want to accomplish right now, whatever that is for you. But most certainly for all of us, it's to get beyond and through these very perilous and tricky times that are affecting every single one of us. So you can do that on Amazon worldwide. It's available to you each right now, both the Little Book of Abundance as well as the Divine Genius. So thank you, ladies. Great to be here.
We'll go ahead and put your website link in the show notes as well as on the YouTube description. But I also wanted to ask, to wrap up, if you'll tell us a little bit about what you're doing to create abundance in the world, because I read somewhere that your goal is 8 billion, I think 8 billion trees. So tell us about the trees that you're planting. Are you planting them, or is that in Peru, or where's that at?
Well, we 65+% of our biodiversity around the world has been wiped out in the last 50 years, and that's according to the World Wildlife Federation. And our deforestation is a prolific problem. These are the lungs, and it produces the air we breathe. So I'm into trees. I love trees. I used to chop them down and build homes and condominiums, and now I start to hug them and love them and see them. And so I'm into planting trees. So there's numerous organizations that do plant trees. And that's one of the things I love to do. Find something you love to do. It's not just a matter of giving money, but it's also a matter of giving it love. So I give a lot of love and money to trees. So thank you for connecting with me on that piece, because every single one of us has something to offer. It's not just our pocketbook. It could just be a connection, or sharing with our children a connection to nature, because we do suffer from NDD, nature deficit disorder. It's an extraordinarily hidden part of our journey that's got us to the heap of mess we're in. So looking forward to changing that and sharing the abundance of our trees.
I love the tree part. I've just a little side note. So I have like 3/4 of an acre that I live on, and all these little tree saplings kept popping up, and we were pulling them out as weeds. And I said, let's stop doing that. Let's actually plant them in pots. So I had like a little tree farm on the side of my house. And the neighbor just was building a new house, and they tore the fence down and stuff. So now I planted like 30 trees on my yard, all on that fence line that I grew from saplings that would have been weeds, so you just never know where you can regenerate something.
I love that. Thank you for doing that, and how vibrant for your home and your land and your community. Just a little thing like that. It's all big.
Yep, it's all there. So speaking of that, and transforming your story and changing your story and writing your story, if you're thinking about writing your story to help the world, leave a legacy, inspire someone's life, motivate their life, please reach out to us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. We make our authors bestsellers, and we just work with a selective group of people, but hit that submission button, and we'd love to talk to you. Thanks, Adam, for coming today. Everyone have an incredible, blessed week.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.